Hello, everybody, and welcome to the very first game of the very first Playday of ACS Season 2. My name is Dino, and I'm joined here by the wonderful Cherish. Cherish, how you doing, man?
I'm doing all right. Little early over here across the pond. It's a nice ripe 11:30, but I'm looking forward to our first Playday that we've got lined up.
Yeah, I mean, to start us off, we've got what I expect to be quite an interesting game. We've got Onibi going up against Prey, and I mean, these are teams we saw Onibi a little bit last season. Do you want to tell us a bit about that?
Yeah. So, for those who were around for season 1, Onibi was under the name Team Envic, but for the most part, they're fairly, I'd say, yeah, for the most part, they're a new look. It is, I believe, only Serpega and Hoshi are the remaining members from that Season 1 roster that are now on this new Onibi team. So definitely looking forward to seeing how this new team, new look can show up. And yeah, on the side of Prey too, they're a qualifier team, so we're not really familiar with them. So that should be interesting as well, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, as you mentioned, Prey qualifier team, we didn't get a chance to see them last season, and I don't know too much about any of these players, so I really hope they're able to come out and surprise us a little bit, give us some interesting games. Now, I do just want to point out quickly that Envic, now Onibi, finished in 8th place last season, and there were 2 teams that actually disbanded before the end of the season, so that was dead last. So hopefully these new adjustments, as we mentioned, it's only Hoshi and Serpega who have remained. They've got Reason, Sugi, and Isaac in now. So hopefully these 3 guys are the ones that I'm looking out for to really come in with a standout performance and, you know, lead the way and get these guys off to a stronger start. Likewise, on the side of Prey, we know nothing about them. And I just want to see who's going to pop off. Like, I always love it when a player just pops off and goes crazy.
Yeah, I mean, that's something that I also really like about these qualifier teams, these unknown teams, is I mean, we very well could be looking at the first place team. We just don't happen to know it. So, it's definitely going to be interesting to see how they perform today and further on in this season. So yeah, I'm really excited to see. We've got Clubhouse lined up as our map for today, so that should be a pretty baseline set, or a pretty yeah, just a baseline, good baseline for these 2 teams. It's one of the most common maps played.
Yeah,
pretty much everyone defaults to Clubhouse seemingly nowadays, so definitely a good starting point for these 2 teams.
Yeah, Clubhouse, as you mentioned, default, everyone plays it, everyone knows it, so it's going to be interesting to see who's going to be able to come out on top. Just to run you through the bans real quickly, though, Onibi banned Consulate Theme Park Coastline, and Prey banned Cafe Villa Oregon. So they were getting rid of some of the bigger maps quite early on, working their way through to the default, so not really too surprising there for a first showing between these 2 teams, because I wouldn't be too surprised if they haven't played each other before either. But I do believe we should be ready to go, just waiting on the final say-so. But, as we see, 53% of you think that Prey are going to win, so I guess I'm the only one thinking that they're the underdogs.
I think I'll agree. I'll go against you on this one. I'll side with Prey, the unknown quantity here. So definitely looking forward to see how they perform with this one. And yeah, it's I don't know, it's because I'm just trying to think. I just hope we see something other than the norm. Like, I want to see something that isn't just Thatcher Maverick ban and just the standard that Clubhouse has become. I really want to see yeah, I just want to see something interesting come out of this Clubhouse game.
Yeah, and you know, as you mentioned, Thatcher, Maverick, you know, maybe just something different. Clubhouse we see a lot of, you know, Kaid gets played a lot or banned a lot, so it's, you know, I don't know. I I have to admit, I have casted a lot of Clubhouse in my day, so being able to see something a little bit different, a little bit more interesting is definitely always a treat for me. And as we are getting on into the game now, we are going to see who Prey are going to be batting out first, as they are starting out on the defense here.
So, we'll see. It's probably going to be Maverick. Yep. There it is. Well, we can't have everything that we want, so I'm really looking forward on the test server to seeing how it works out with the Thatcher changes. Because I've heard, for the most part, that a lot of teams and a lot of players high up believe that it is more so an outright nerf than any tweak or change, that as how Ubisoft has put it out. So definitely going to be interesting to see in the coming months how the meta shifts around that. But for now, we've got the standard. We've still got Maverick Thatcher gone, as well as that Kaid that you mentioned.
Yeah.
So will be
and of course, Mirror off the board right after. But it does mean that we are going to have Echo and Maestro both left up, which isn't something that you see a lot of in most maps these days. Normally, one of them gets taken out. Generally, it's Echo. So it does give the defense a little bit more tools to play around with when it comes to the actual site defense itself.
And that's actually something that I've seen a lot of recently, is a lot of teams are leaving up and very comfortable and fine with skins. It gets everyone. Skins. Well, yeah, that's for those unaware, that's something new that a bunch of leagues have thankfully taken after from Pro League, is that everything, what is it? It's everything but pilot program and Pro League sets are banned.
Yeah. So, yeah, it just has to be the bare default, the pilot program, or the, as you mentioned, the Pro League sets. So, it does add a little bit more competitiveness to the game, because you're not trying to just shoot into a shadowy corner, or someone's running upstairs on Villa in a Wind Bastion uniform, and you just have no idea who it is you're trying to shoot at. But it does help out quite a lot as a player to just actually know what you're shooting at, especially that Pizza Mozzie skin, which was surprisingly effective on Villa. I didn't really get that one until I saw it in action.
Yeah. That's the thing. I was like, all right, whatever. But then you realize it's that orange, yet red, yellow that is very colorful, or very, very well easy. Wow, I can't speak. Very easy to blend in on Villa. But that was always my favorite part, is like looking at Twitter and stuff, and it's like find the whoever, and you're just like zoomed in on every little part of the picture, and you're like, oh, there he is. Where I couldn't easily see him.
I played Where's Wally games that are easier than that.
Exactly. It's basically just that. So it's nice to see that we've adopted that ruling as a baseline everywhere. So it's a little annoying to have the rehost already, but all told, it's definitely good that we got it out of the way.
It wouldn't be the start of a Ubisoft game, or of a league featuring a Ubisoft game, if you didn't have a rehost within the first hour. So we're already there. We're already there, ladies and gentlemen, and we can only go up from here, right?
I really do hope so. I mean, we've got a total of 3 games today.
Mm-hmm.
The other 2 that we've got on the board that I actually did not write down are it is Homeless and TTTK, who is that's I vaguely remember TTTK. They are a Finnish predominant, if not entirely, roster. And then we have, not going to try and pronounce, Aves, I believe. Aves. Okay, Aves and Nice Gaming coming up after that one. Both those ones are going to be played on Oregon. We'll get to that probably later on, but
yeah,
that'll be nice.
Yeah, I mean, I quite like the new Oregon. I've not had much of a chance to cast on it, so my callouts might be a little rusty. I might have to rely on you for that one. But it's similar to the old map, just enough that some strategies, some plays, like the mentality of clearing from west, taking Big Tower comes through. But then when you get into the sites themselves, they've changed up quite a lot, and it provides a very interesting dynamic, especially those two kind of kitchen sites. I really want to see different strategies that teams bring out to try and hold on to those ones especially. But just thinking about Clubhouse, we said it's a very standard map, very basic. If there was one thing that you could sort of wish into existence that these teams will do on this game, what would it be?
One thing, well, I can tell you what I wish they wouldn't do. I know in American Tier 3, everyone really loves to copy the SSG roam strat on Basement, where you play Mute, Mozzie, Vigil, Castle, and Legion, and just run around the map, basically, and be obnoxious. And that is always just the most boring thing to cast. And
yeah,
it's like, because it's like, what do I do as they run their drones into every Mozzie jammer and mute, or as every Mozzie pest and mute jammer, and for the first 2.5 minutes, and then eventually finally get down to the slaughter. So it's that's definitely something. But I do want to see very proactive attacks. And when I say that, there's started to become this attacking style, especially on CCTV and Cache Room, where teams will open up the main cache wall and then just like leave it. They will put a dude sitting on that platform to cut off any rotations and shift the entire rest of the team over to the bedroom side. And if either of these teams can really work that attack well into their attacking side, then I think that definitely does bode well, because then you can kind of sneak around out and maybe turn that 4-2 usual attack, or that 2-4 attacking side into a 3-3 or maybe better. And it's definitely something to look out for with that.
Yeah, I mean, if you were able to catch some of the recent major, especially on the EU side, there was quite a lot of attacks that didn't really focus upon getting that, even just opening up that CCTV wall. They just went straight for construction and opening up that cache breach. And it does provide interesting lines of sight. You know, some of these teams may just be used to that standard garage CCTV wall take, so actually being able to open up that wall can provide interesting new angles on into the site itself. I know quite a while ago, talking almost a year now, going for that construction side of things was still quite a common option, but we are actually back on into the game. Players have taken off all of their banned skins, and we are going to be getting on into round number 1 here.
So I believe it should be pretty much all the same operators being ran, or at least we'll most likely see all the same operators ran. And something that I've seen now come out both times for Onibi here is a buck. Not really an operator that we see a lot, because even in this position that they're in, you want to try and be annoying to those cache defenders specifically. Even then, most teams will just play a sledge and just try and nade out from below, and not really use the Canadian attacker, who's very much, since losing his nades, he's very much fallen out of play here.
Yeah, I have to agree. Like, Buck losing his nades, it was such a huge switch up in his capability. He was one of the most utility-heavy operators, 25 rounds in the shotgun, 2 frag nades, obviously you get those drones as well, 2-2. You just had so much to work with, and taking away those nades, it's really hampered his ability to just find himself in these lineups. And Sledge going for those nades from below, it's a difficult thing to do from time to time. You have to time it perfectly so it explodes on the roof while you're far enough away to not take any damage. And if you're just not confident enough in doing that, sometimes bringing a buck is the play, although you could do it just as well with a Zofia, I feel.
Yeah, especially dealing with that bandit trick. A lot of teams, like you mentioned, will just Sophia it out, so we'll have to see how Onibi wants to handle this. They are going to be starting on the attack, as we kind of hinted at, but never really fully mentioned. So it is Prey on the defense with Onibi on attack here. We'll be seeing a little bit of play coming out below, but it's already the first frag coming out for Reason onto the Jaeger of Eco, I think, is what he goes by. So that is not the real Shaiko, not to break any hearts here.
No, I think if the real Shaiko was in the game, we would have had a couple more talking points about that. But instead, it's well, the Jaeger who is now off the board. Not Freak has also lost a little bit of HP, just under 50 points gone from him. Not entirely sure where that went down, but as we see Ash getting control of Lounge, it means that the Thermite has been able to open up that CCTV breach. So for the time being, that is the area of control that they're going for. We do see Vigil over towards Construction, so they are aware of a potential push coming in through Master Bedroom later on in the round.
So this is the part that I was mentioning. We'll see how Freak is going to have to hold off this attack, but already Onibi has opened up the main breach, and I want to see them shift over, especially with the help of Isaac and that other exothermic charge from Sugi. I want to see them shift over to open this construction side of things. So we'll see, as Luigi's getting pressured thanks to this Buck, who's starting to get quite annoying downstairs.
And knowing that you have a Buck downstairs sometimes is more powerful than what the Buck can actually do. You're just so cautious of wherever you're standing because he could just disappear from underneath you at any moment in time. So just having him there will be a good amount of psychological pressure upon the side of Prey. Is he going to struggle to hold onto the spot? And Luigi, well, it's going to struggle to hold onto his life as Serpega lands that. Tom gets a kill on Sugi straight after, and Actor follows up with one onto Isaac using the holographic echo, so it's a 3 versus 3 now with 30 seconds left to go, and Onibi still need to try and find a way on into the site itself.
Yeah, we're coming down to that crunch time, the last 20 seconds, and there isn't Echo still on the board. He's on 10 health or even less, but that diffuser's actually stuck outside, so Onibi really has to get going with this one. That frag is going to come down from Actor onto Reason, as he's going to pick up Serpega as well, and it's over as Freak finishes off Hoshi. A good hold from the Echo here alongside the rest of his teammates, and despite looking pretty bad early on, actually, Prey is able to turn a 5v3 into 3 left alive and winning the round.
Yeah, and I mean, that just comes down to Actor being able to hold onto that garage so well. And I mean, just how? How does someone in that position survive for that long? He was on 10 health right next to the window. He was trapped. He couldn't stand up without being shot, and he's able to collect 2 kills from there after they're fully aware of where he is and while he's on that. Only there's 10 points of health, and this is after Onibi gets the opening 2 kills. Like, the opening 1 kill we talk about being important enough, but to have that 5-3 man advantage off the bat, and to then lose the round, that's a very strong showing from Prey in my books.
I think I'm gonna take the side of the pessimistic side, like the glass half empty side. I think that really showed. I mean, Onibi had half the round where they were at 5-3. It was about a minute 30 remaining in the round that frag was found by Serpega onto, I believe it was Luigi, from below looking upwards. So it's very interesting that I mean, the attack took so long to commence from Onibi, and they only focused on that main wall breach. It was very slow on the rotation play, if at all, and they took their sweet old time, really, and I guess that showed that it paid for them early, or rather, it paid dearly because they were not able to clutch that one out.
I mean, I always say that as an attacker, you're going up against 6 defenders. You've got the 5 operators, and then you've got the clock. And for some teams, the clock is the biggest challenge to try and control. So maybe this is going to be a recurring theme for Onibi. Maybe it's just the first round getting on into the flow of the game. But as you mentioned, they were able to get the very first kill of the round from Reason onto Shaiko, actually, or Grubby. So they were able to get that within the first 30 seconds, and a minute 30 later it was Serpega, and well, there's Serpega right there as he goes down to the Legion, roaming through Lounge. A very aggressive play coming from this player, but he gets traded out almost immediately by Reason. So 1 for 1, losing a buck for a Legion though, I'm taking that every day if I'm Prey.
Yeah, I think that definitely, I do think the Legion alongside, okay, now that I'm looking at their lineup, it's like, you know, a whole line of who do you want to lose less? Because obviously the Legion and the Wamai, as the round goes on, provide more use. The Echo, as the round goes on, provides a lot more use. So obviously your first 2 operators you would want to lose would be that Bandit and the Jaeger. Bandit's C4 just went off and missed Reason, so he's lucky to get out of there. But yeah, I mean, it's not the worst loss, but it's also not the best, but I do agree. Now that forces Reason to be basically the entirety of the soft destruction for Onibi upstairs, and he's already shifted downstairs to help push forward.
And also getting rid of those 3 flashbangs from the buck as a beautiful shot comes out from Luigi, peeking up behind that deployed shield to take the head off of Reason. These little bulletproof windows can provide so much control as Grubby gets the kill on Tsugi, trying to go up the stairs. It's the thermite down and the diffuser on the stairway. Gonna be aware, somehow that Claymore doesn't kill Luigi, he just walks straight through it, doesn't lose a single point of health. Okay.
That's Luigi's finest.
Yeah, and he's even able to get a kill off of that, gets one on Hoshi, traded out by Isaac. It's now the Hibana left 1 versus 3 up inside of the kitchen, 10 seconds to go, diffuser not in hand. This is going to be Prey taking a second round already.
Yeah, that round is just confirmed by Tom there, the MP5K doing some light work for himself on the Wamai. And yeah, like you said, a second round confirmed. That Claymore was very interesting that it missed out. I was not expecting that one. So we'll get to see though. Maybe we'll get to see some better Claymores in the coming rounds, because at least this round, all the Claymores are going to be based on Windows. For the almost all of them are going to be based on Windows. I want to see what Grubby is going to play, if he's going to stick to this Alibi or not. Because Alibi's, yeah, he's going to stick to it. Alibi's not really an operator that sees a whole lot of play, really. So I'm interested to see how they want to work this one.
Yeah, I mean, we do see sort of in terms of, as you mentioned, Alibi, we don't see much play, but then we do get these spikes on certain sites, and I do feel like this is one of those sites. Actually, Grubby's bringing the AC-12? The semi-auto shotgun.
Yeah. I don't know what the name is, because it's used so little. But they did, as of the last patch, they did change it to slugs. So... yeah.
ACS 12. Hey, I mean, playing an ACS league, you got to give it to them now. So,
oh, he's just doing it to give us a little shout out.
I'm sure that's the entire reason why.
Yeah, that is the entire point.
There's no other strategy behind it. It is just so it says ACS in the name. Respect for that one, Grubby. Respect.
So this is something that I actually wanted to see at. Over in CC, Ray's got a different setup than what a lot of teams are used to, at least what I'm used to in NA, being that teams will reinforce the cash room itself rather than the CC side of things, and play inside the heavily reinforced cash room. But yeah, already, I mean, Onibi's pushing forward and able to get a lot of pressure in here onto this main CC cache area. And there goes one of those alibi prismas just being annoying, but that's really the thing about that utility is it's just annoying until it gives Freak the info that Hoshi is in the garage. At least it's refragged by Serpega onto Actor, but again, I mean, it's the trade thing. It's a castle with no utility or an Ash with all her utility.
Yeah, and Hoshi, I mean, if he's going to be bringing out that Ash, you got to expect that he's going to be one of the stronger fraggers. We've not seen much from him so far today, but, I mean, your team doesn't put you on Ash if they don't expect you to at least hit some heads, so having Hoshi off the board early on when Onibi's already struggling is not a good look for them.
Well, it's a good look so far for Onibi as they're, maybe it didn't look good starting out for sure, but at least Serpega's got a second one for himself. That's on the Freak, who's gotten 2 openers so far back to back. But because of the, oh, what a shot. Because of the lack of the explosive denial from the side of Onibi, now that Hoshi is down, it's all up to Reason, really. It's really tough to get this main wall open. That was Isaac that fell, by the way, on the Hibana. As I say that main wall is going to get opened. So that's a little caster's curse. But yeah, I really want to see how Onibi wants to pilot around this 3-on-3 because they don't really have that much info here.
Well, it's going to be Suki to get the kill onto Grubby as the Zafir of Reason just rushes on into Bathroom, gaining a lot of control for his team. The Legion is trapped inside the construction. There is a rotate through into Logistics if they elect to use it, but he's actually going to take the fight onto Serpega on the construction window. Tom gets 2, just peeking on into the site. Luigi's down, gets finished off, and Prey, yet again, what looks like a dangerous position actually works on out for them. They didn't drone out the site itself, or they had no drones left to do so, and just this bandit prone in the corner gonna collect a double as they both swing on out.
That was actually something that I didn't notice. That none of the surviving operators had drones actually. So that's very. Oh, that's such a cool little replay graphic we've got going. But yeah, I forgot that we can see that, and I totally didn't realize that they just had no drones, so that's why they had no info. So that's a further really good job from the side of Prey to deny that. And we're seeing a Warden.
Ooh. I think actually in that last round, Reason did have a drone up, but it might have been deployed somewhere watching a flank, which is, just as important. But when you're going for those last second executes, you just need some intel as to what's going on in the site, and sometimes pulling your drone off the flank, because at that point, if you get flanked, it's as bad as rushing on into the site with no intel. You just have to choose which one you want to deal with more. One thing I do want to point out about that last round, though, was they opened up that CCTV breach, and then they had absolutely no one clear through cache, no one holding from the CCTV side, just looking at it, and it meant that this Legion was able to run around it. I think it was Luigi, just run around, get a kill from the window onto the Hibana inside of CCTV, and it's just, why are you wasting your utility as a Thermite opening that up if you've got no one even holding it? Just having it there for sort of mock pressure isn't going to bother these guys. They're just going to run at you anyway, even if you are actually holding it.
Yeah, it's so far just seeming very awkward for Onibi, frankly. They're not fully using, I guess, everything that they've got for themselves. Just to continue on that, like you said, they open things and get frags and openings and aren't able to convert them fully. So a nice shot onto Grubby, who's shut down once more. He's not faring the best on these 2 CC sites. He's been the opener both times, thanks to now this time Hoshi, who's nabbed his first frag of the round. But well, I mean, it definitely is now. Well, yeah, we've got 2 minutes now for Onibi to try and pivot this into something meaningful, and it's not gonna be because Freak is going to be just that and jump out that window like a freak.
Yeah, and that is... You know Hoshi's hand was so close to going through his monitor after that one. Like... There's just no way you're happy after that, but it is going to be Serpega there to trade it out, but Luigi gets one onto Reason as well, meaning that it's still even man count. And Onibi not quite able to take and hold an advantage in kills just yet in this round. They do still have a minute 20 to work with, so they're not too stressed for time, especially as, well, Isaac gets one, Serpega then gets Luigi straight after, so now it's all left up to Actor. He's inside of Garage working his way back on into CCTV. He does have an Echo drone still up, but I don't necessarily think he's in the perfect position to try and use it, as this bug below is going to try and force him out, and he's got the advantage that they may not know precisely where he is, attempting to hold on through that breach. He sees the bug downstairs, fires some shots, actually gets the kill onto Serpega. Now it's all left up to these two guys inside of construction. It's both of the hard breaches left up. Shots going through. They don't seem to be fully aware that he hasn't rotated round into red and is still just holding on from the CCTV. Oh, that was so close to being able to collect him a kill. Sugi's actually managed to find his way on into the site, going for a plant. The Hibana rotating round to red of Isaac gets Actor, and that is going to be Onibi's first round.
Yeah, a good job from Onibi. It was looking very scary there that it was going to end the same way that round one ended here, but definitely was a good finish up by the double hard breachers. So we'll get to see this time through how a different take on it will be, hopefully, unless Grubby is going to switch off to something else, as Actor's pulling out a mute this time. Not real. They're already abandoning the Echo, and I mean, it's a good IQ pick, pulling or to anticipate the Echo, but I also think that's just why we haven't really seen a lot of Echo play, is because the prevalence with the Thatcher bands that have basically taken over the game as of the last bunch of months now, since about February or so. The prevalence of IQ having to come in has really shut down a lot of Echo play in recent weeks, that he's been left up more and more.
Yeah. And I also feel, at least in part, there was that sort of stint of about a month, 2 months or so, where Echo was unavailable to play in competitive settings because there was a glitch with his drone where he could put it on the ceiling, it would be invisible, and even if you spotted it, you couldn't shoot it. I mean, they're invisible by design, but that's a whole nother issue. But yeah, you couldn't shoot and destroy them, so it was out of play for a bit, and I think during that time, the team sort of got a bit creative with it, tried different things, expanded their own meta as such and what bands they want to use, and in the basement? What? What's Serpega doing in the basement? What's Luigi doing in the basement first? Then what's Serpega doing in the basement?
Yeah, that is very close to what I was thinking. Is how that early on, how did we get to see that frag there with Serpega in the basement? Very interesting engagement that happened, but a good job for the side of Onibi, and it's taken away because of Freak. He's found another frag onto Reason this time. Not the most used for the IQ this time through, but, you know, there still is a good bit of gadgetry she would like to take away, and now Onibi's going to have to pivot without her, as it's, again, a very slow attack. Like, what is Sugi really watching, as from below, Freak is going to find Serpega, who has no one covering him.
Yeah, and... Okay, doesn't win the fight onto Hoshi. You seem to have an idea, and I was very scared about that. Isaac gets one onto Grubby. Actor, though, takes down Sugi, so it's a 2 versus 2. The Mute and the Bandit might both still have C4s left up, which could make going for this plant very, very difficult. Hoshi firing some shots up, just making sure that no one's going to pressure down the red stairs. Actor's just holding onto this for the time being. As Onibi, I mean, what would you think to do right now as Onibi?
I mean, from this position, you have Ash and Hibana against a mute, and you're not really sure what. I would assume they have to know it's a bandit. But, I mean, there's just... Hoshi has to do what he can from below, and he's already taken very low. He can't get this mute jammer off this back wall, and even if he did, Tom could probably bandit trick if he felt like it. So, we'll have to see as... Yep, it's just down to Hoshi. A great shot from Tom is going to put it all on the Ash, as Prey is just on the cusp, and there it is. No longer on the cusp. They have secured that 4-2, at the worst, 4-2 half for themselves on this defense. And, I mean, they go to Gym Bedroom, where they clutched up, or they go to Church Arsenal, where they looked very dominant. Nice shot there, as you can see it once again by Freak. Onto Reason, just around the corner. That one's probably very frustrating for the IQ to have dealt with.
I just can't even imagine. I saw that and I was upset for Reason, because, I mean, how are you going to expect that someone's going to fire all 30 bullets in a pre-fire perfectly at head level? And, I mean, I don't know what Reason was doing, why he was just standing there. Obviously, that's a very exposed position to be in. Generally, if you go tucked around to the sort of right-hand side of the balcony, that's a bit better of a position to stay in. So standing out in the open, kind of asking for it, but then at the same time, 99% of players see that gets opened up and they book it out of there. They run the other way. They don't want to even think about taking that fight.
I mean, you know, I think it's like a 50-50. Either 50% run back down the stairs they just came up from, or the other 50% run into that bedroom. And I think it's just because Freak was caught in that weird transition where he was trying to walk to the bedroom, so he couldn't really walk downstairs as well. He was kind of caught in that no man's land almost, that he ended up going for the shots. And like you said, who expects him to pre-fire his entire magazine into the open area? So Reason walking into that one is definitely not too fond of that. And I want to see... I mean, I'm trying to think of how I think Onibi can really win out this round for themselves, because they desperately need this one.
Yeah, and it's not like this is a difficult set of operator bans for the attacks to win off of. This is a very expected, and teams can quite easily go 3-3 off of these bans. So to see them struggling this much to just get a second round on the board, I mean, they lost the first 3 in a row. They've only been able to collect 1. It's really not looking good. I mean, Onibi may have an exceptional defensive half coming up that's just going to blow us away, and this might wind up in a draw, but, I mean, the way that Prey have been playing, I don't really see them losing this at this point, and I'm quite happy to admit that I was so wrong about them.
Yeah, Prey is definitely looking pretty comfortable so far on Clubhouse. Freak's going to give himself away as he's getting into contact with a lot of drones. No players just yet. And somehow makes it out of there alive despite everything blowing up around him. Just explosions and buckshot everywhere left and right. And he ducks and dodges his way successfully back further. And, I mean, this is a pretty standard Church Arsenal attack. You kind of just reach everything for the first 2.5 minutes, and then eventually we'll get into a big scrum. So, Oshi's already trying to start up said scrum, but I really am looking to see where that first gunfight is going to come up here.
Yeah, I mean, I'm quite impressed that they've been able to use all 3 sets of Hibana pellets successfully. That means all the hatches are opened up. Tom is going to get the opening kill as he takes down Hoshi. Luigi straight after with the C4 onto Reason. Tom's actually managed to find his way into supply and is going to peek on down through this kitchen hallway. Doesn't get detected outside. So he's still on for a very good flank, and he actually gets the kill on Sugi. That's a diffuser down. He takes the fight onto the player in kitchen, but it's going to be Isaac to win that one. Collects the diffuser, but now it's a 2 versus 4 with 20 seconds left. Onibi make that a 2 versus 3. Serpega getting 1 onto Luigi before being traded out immediately by Actor. It's now 1 versus 3. Isaac with a diffuser, 15 seconds left, peeking on into Church through the memorial room doorway. You know precisely where he is, and he's able to take the first fight, gets the kill onto Freak, pushes on through deeper, but he's got no time to go for the plant. He has to see if he can get these kills. He gets the one onto Actor, no time left on the clock. Prey win that round on time. A very good attempt coming through by Isaac, but just all in all, Prey's defense was so strong.
Yeah, I definitely think here too, very interesting play from Actor, hanging out in this little corner. We didn't see it. We just saw the other corner that he was hanging out in before he got that little beret rocked off his head. But yeah, you definitely don't expect the Maestro to be the one to swing out like he did. In terms of frags right now, it seems that Grubby, who's been playing primarily frag-focused defenders, is the only one who's not doing so hot for his team. On the other side of things, for Onibi, their fraggers are doing fairly well for themselves, or rather, it was the Buck player of Serpega and the secondary hard breach on Isaac that are doing well, and the rest of their team is fairly quiet. They're sitting at 2s and 1s, whereas everyone but Grubby on the side of Prey is sitting at a nice, comfortable 7 or 6. So they're really feeling it this game, and things are already rough for Onibi because Serpega, I think, took a shotgun blast from Sugi and has lost half his health, which you really don't want on the Wamai.
5 seconds remaining.
That is not what you like to see, as they do say. And, I mean, yeah, Onibi, it's just not their day for the time being. Hopefully these defenses are going to come out and just blow us away, and we'll potentially wind up seeing a 6-6 game, or, you know, something a little closer than it is for the time being. But it looks like Prey potentially... No, it was just a way, so, you know, when someone's going for a rush, and they punch doorways like that, and you just expect them to go flying through afterwards. But no, they were just... getting in nice and early. Freak, though, getting the early kill onto Sugi, and that's a smoke down in the first 30 seconds. Shots going through into Garage. After he loses a little bit of health, isn't able to find any damage off that, but that is still insane.
And again, arguably the best pick you could find. He's going to find a second, a nice shot with that 1x sight all the way into bar. Takes down the Roamer of Reason. Isaac's going to fall from below, thanks to Grubby here. And that's 5v2. We've got 2 minutes to go. It's barely been a minute. Serpega is going to fall, and it's a flawless attack from Prey. Just like that. Okay.
I mean, yeah, they just walked at people and got kills. They just ran into the building. Freak. I mean, you kind of have an idea that they're opening up the hole, but I mean, just still being able to win that, and then the second kill onto the player inside a bar, just swinging around, the shots coming through. Beautiful headshot onto Reason. Oh my. Onibi not having a good day at the office.
Yeah, definitely not how you want your first match on in to be showing up. It doesn't feel that great to, you know, even if you do clutch up these next 5 rounds in a row, at best, you're pulling out a tie. So, definitely not feeling super good for the side of Onibi. And on the other side of things, I mean, it's feeling great for the side of Prey. So, I mean, again, like we did mention it probably like 9 times on the pre-match broadcast. It's basically that Prey was the unknown variable. They were the unknown quantity outside of their fans, and they're really coming in and showing up here. So good on them to be able to really bring it to us, I guess, and show us and start to prove their worth and their mettle, because they've got I think, what is it, like 10 more games after this, I think, to keep it going. But I mean, if they can secure this second round on attack on Clubhouse after a flawless attack on CC, things are going to be great for them, as Grubby is already down main after 30 seconds.
They do seem to be aware of him as he rushes on into Memorial, so it won't be... Okay, I was about to say it won't necessarily be an easy kill off the bat, but he just lands the headshot onto Sapega, straight up onto Reason afterwards, and it's a 3 versus 5 Asher's control of sight. Oh, what?! What?! Just a spam through the wall, takes the head off of Hoshi, he's pushing forward, he's hearing the gunshots from the Alder inside of Armory, and Tsuki gets the kill onto Freak, the shotgun coming through as well, taking down Luigi, so starting to pull it back just a little bit, and maybe might be able to pull this one out. The smoke looking the wrong way. Grubby, not Shaiko, getting the kill on Tsugi, and Actor stealing his ace as he takes down the Maestro, but oh my, Prey, what on earth was that game?
That was definitely Grubby doing his best Shaiko impression. Pulling in a 4K within a minute of the round. 30 seconds the round started, he found his first frag there, as he just saw. That's a nasty one onto Hoshi.
Yeah, that is just... that is just unreal. I think your face kind of says it all. Like, just what? How does someone just walk into sight in the first 30 seconds of the round, get 4 kills? Like, they knew he pushed into Memorial. What is Sir Pega doing just swinging that doorway without